What is up, guys? My name is Alex Fanega, and today I want to be sharing with you guys how I landed my dream job at Pinterest. I want to be sharing with you guys some of the steps that I took to get myself more known, what it was I did to separate myself, from the other competitors, and then also I'm going to be sharing with you guys the resume that I used to get in there, and I'm also going to let you guys have the resume if you guys want to use it for your own purposes, reformat it, do whatever you guys want with it. So, for any of you who don't know my story, self-taught UI UX designer. I learned it all in high school. I took an online course, and then I just dove straight into UI UX. I didn't go to college. Just basically learned by staying on Dribble and just keep posting stuff until I saw numbers change and people's feedback about my designs get better. So I started just by learning a lot on Dribble, and then from there it was just a lot of working for different people, different companies. And I was born and raised in San Diego, and I was there at the time, and I wanted just a switch. Um, so I heard all the tech companies, the big boys, were out in SF and Silicon Valley. It was always a dream of mine to go work at like a Pinterest or Google or somewhere big. But every time I would apply online or somewhere, I would always get like that annoying ass email back like, "Hey, we're reviewing it. We'll get back to you if there's a position." All that stuff that is just annoying. You know, you have no hope. No one's looking at it, and you kind of feel just hopeless, right? Um, so I was in that same position, and what I did that helped me a lot, just to get where I wanted to get to, which was a Pinterest, a Google, a LinkedIn, a big giant like tech company where like someone basically everyone had that app on the phone, or their computer. I wanted to work at that. So what I found out was I worked for a lot of different companies, and one of the companies that I ended up at was Jelly. And Jelly was a startup ran in San Francisco by Twitter's co-founder Biz Stone with his co-founder Ben Finkel at the time. And I reached out there when I first got to SF, super blinded to the whole way networking works. I don't have the best social skills, none of that stuff. And I just started reaching out to companies. And when Biz and when I saw that Biz and Ben were working on a startup, I just reached out to them. I was a fan of Jelly UI, and luckily they needed a designer. So I applied, I got in, and long story short, I was with them for 9 months. And then we ended up getting acquired by Pinterest. And at that time, um, Pinterest had got back and said they weren't interested for me. They basically said they didn't have anyone, um, any spots available for my specific role, and so it was up to me just to kind of find out what the hell I'm going to do next. So I did some contracting, and long story short, like maybe 2 months after Pinterest bought Jelly and I was at Jelly, I started contracting. And like 2 months later, my old co-founder reached out to me and was like, "Hey, I worked with you at Jelly for 8 months. Super fun working with you. Do you want to come enjoy a position here at Pinterest?" And I was like, "Sure, why not?" So I interviewed with the head of design there at the time for their San Francisco office, because I know they have a lot of different offices. Um, and yeah, that's how I got my first job. And it wasn't like, there wasn't a miracle behind it. And something I wish I would have known, which is why I'm sharing in this video with you guys, is um, I wanted to work at a big company. And I always thought you had to have the perfect resume, have like the perfect attire, speak the design language, or if you're a product manager, that language, or if you're a developer, that language. Basically go into an interview flawless, to try to get where you want to get to, or land the role you want to work at. And so what I found out was literally they don't care. Pinterest, LinkedIn, Google, Instagram. When that role opens, you have to understand as a talent, whether you're in development, product, marketing, design, you are competing. Even if you're like one of the best, if you're so good, there's probably four other guys that are just as good. And the way that you're going to get the job is to be in front of them. So I feel like a lot of people just don't get in front of the opportunity that they want to get in front of. Because I think a lot of people think that they're just going to design all day, and that was my biggest problem, which is why I'm sharing with you. If I never adopted the mindset of having to like get out, go network, switch locations, something like that, I'd probably still be designing for clients that pay nothing, with horrible deadlines, clients you don't want to work for. Let's just put it that way. But I got out there and I just took opportunity after opportunity. A lot of them were shitty. I didn't like a lot of them. I landed one lucky one where I just emailed them. They liked me. I liked the company, and we worked together for 9 months and got acquired. And that's how I got into Pinterest. So this is just a video to tell people you're gonna have to work on a lot of different things, and you're probably going to have to work at 5 locations, 5 spots that you don't want to work at before you land that one that you do. You can let your work speak for you, but there's not really a lot. The Dribbble community is a lot less than the YouTube community, and the Behance community is a lot less than Facebook community. So what I'm saying is, we as in my field designing, we don't have a lot of outlets to go up from. There's not a lot of eyeballs on our work. It's up to us to get our work out there by working for different companies, being on Behance, LinkedIn, Dribbble, all that stuff, uploading as much content as you can, and just basically running into walls until you finally break past it. Because I know so many designers who were more talented than me, older than me, more experienced than me, and they're still working at shitty startups or places they don't want to work at. And I've worked at startups that I've been wanting to work at, startups I dreamed of working at, and Pinterest and other amazing startups. And the biggest lesson that I took was you have to get in front of them. You can't just rely on your work. It doesn't work that way in this day and age. And it might have worked 5 years ago when the technology field was so small, but it's different now. Times have changed. So that's what I'm leaving you out. That's my experience with how I landed my dream job, basically, at Pinterest. I was there for 4 months, and then I decided that I was going to move back to San Diego. So that I live here in San Diego now. But yeah, so that's how I landed my full-time gig at Pinterest. And if you guys are looking to land your gig at Google, anywhere like that, my biggest advice to you would be, regardless of how good you are as a developer, designer, whatever, how are you going to get your work in front of them? I did mine by working with a different company. We got acquired, and then my work was all of a sudden in front of the product manager there because there was a position open, and my old boss said, "Oh, I know a great designer." So you should be asking yourself, how can you be that designer, developer, marketer, PM that pops in people's heads? And there's a lot of different ways to do it, but just when you're working on the day to day, when you're picking your next gig, if you want that dream job, if you want to land that top notch tech gig, you're gonna have to do a lot more than just have pretty work and good work. Everyone has pretty work and good work, so you're gonna have to network. You're gonna have to get in front of stuff, and you're gonna have to push and shove a little bit. So that's all I got for you guys today. That's how I got into Pinterest and landed my dream job. If you guys have any questions, you guys can email me. All the info is below. And then, like I said, I had my resume. I did have to send a resume in, and that resume is below in PSD format, I believe. And you guys can use it, tear it apart, not suing you, and make it all yours. So thank you guys so much for watching.